Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
I was a little late there. I was a little late there on the draw.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Naya. Hello.
Hello.
Inter Miami does
it. Yep.
That's right. They do it. They did it.
They do it. I underestimated them.
Campeones.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the biggest part of that was when Messi came out. A heavy Nashville crowd booed him. And I was like,
wild.
Hell yeah. I was like, this is it. Nashville's the only club of this entire tournament that showed up with their fans. I thought it'd be a bunch of Messi fanboys. It's like, no. Our boy Ryan Baker was there. He sent photos, or at least he sent texts from the thing. He said 90%. It was a Nashville heavy crowd. And I was like, that is an important thing. It shows the world and the league and the team that, like, oh, there's real clubs with real fans, actually. And Nashville's one of them.
Yeah.
And Nashville was not starstruck super hard. They handled them well.
True, yeah. Unlike Philly.
100% unlike Philly. And it was a great game. Nashville held them tight for a good 90 minutes. The only goal they had was Leo Messi magic. It was like the first time in the very beginning he got his hands on the ball.
Amazing.
And I'm like, is he going to make something out of this? It's like, oh, he did. He smoked 4 or 5 defenders and then
there's a video
on top left.
There's a TikTok video from somebody that, like, is basically 2 minutes of Messi prior to the goal, and he's just walking. He's real, like, right. There's people around him. And he's just he walks, he looks, he's by the sideline. I mean, he's very casual, and then he sees the thing, and he comes out, literally out of nowhere.
That's a superpower. He knows when to be fast and when to be slow.
Incredible. He, like that also, and then finishes it into the top corner. Yeah, I mean, hats off to the guy. I mean, he's good at this.
He's a good soccer player.
Lionel Messi is good at soccer. Print the T-shirt.
But you could tell, maybe him and his boys were a little tired because you didn't see much from him in the second half. And Nashville came back.
He hit the post. He almost did.
True.
He almost did this again. He almost did the exact same thing again, and it would have.
So tired in his terms.
tired.
There's only one goal, not a hat trick. But then it went to penalties, and everyone slammed a great penalty, including Jordi Alba. It was his first ever penalty in his professional career. Did you know that?
I know that because they said that during the broadcast. I did not know that prior to that.
Surprised me. But everyone showed up, and
he did. Sorry,
I was gonna say when it boiled down to the two goalkeepers. One goalkeeper was more prepared than the other. Drake Callender, who's been having a great tournament all around in general.
Yeah.
It's very fitting for him to actually win the thing because he had a really great save in this game too. The dude's got great saves in him. He
has been really clutch for them. Like in almost not every game, but most of the games that I've seen when there was a moment where the other team got it together, and Callender has made some momentum killing saves for Miami. I think he's been clutch, and that in this case again, a couple of really good saves. Yeah, he's good. He's very good, and I mean, that was a poor penalty, right, from Panico. From
Panico at the disco, yeah,
Panico,
and but he probably never realized he'd have to kick a penalty ever in his life.
Well,
So
except
it's
we just
like,
went through this in Vancouver, right, where they had like 36 penalties. So it's not like it should have been on his mind as a possibility.
now they know. Now they know that everyone needs to get good at penalties.
because the
Which is
Leagues
a good
Cup,
segue.
there's a lot of penalties in the Leagues Cup.
So it's a good segue into Leagues Cup Big Talk. What do you think are the key takeaways from this League Cup? A and B. What are things that should be different for next Leagues Cup?
What should be different? They shouldn't have 3-team groups. If I don't know how the math shakes out differently, but I think that's always bad. How I thought it was entertaining, but I was not a doubter. I thought this was going to be fun from the beginning. I mean, obviously, it was Messi's appearance played a huge part. Those Miami games were extremely entertaining. But I saw a bunch of good stuff. I think Liga MX feels a little hard done by. They have
Right.
they
On the Liga MX subforum today, a fan mapped out all the teams' travel from the league, and the first it was Monterrey going like all over the country, and the next one was like all the MLS teams not going anywhere and stuff.
right.
They're sour. They're a little sour over there in Liga MX.
They feel like yeah, I mean that was kind of it's definitely it's a little bit rigged in MLS's favor, obviously, because all their
Wait a minute. So you think it's rigged? You're using the term rigged?
I don't think it's rigged. I mean, rigged as in like, scripted. But I'm saying the setup is in favor of the American teams for sure. And I think that's something that they have to. I mean, I think that's also part of the financial incentive, right? That's the way they perhaps make more money. I don't know.
Rumor is that the Mexican owners were like very adamant about that. Mexican owners like, we're only going to do this tournament if it's all in the United States. I think that's from their end, on our end.
Right. And so if they let's see if they want to do it that way again. I mean, there's also ways to do it that wouldn't involve quite that much travel, and I think if they had 4 team groups, they could I mean, there's ways to do it differently, but I thought they should do overtime at least in the final. I thought that was a little lame that went straight.
I agreed.
To pens.
I liked when the game was over. I'm like, I need 30 minutes more of this game. It's like,
I mean, when it comes to the final, I think they should play overtime. I think in general, I understand in the middle of the season they don't want to go 120 minutes, but I guess those would be my suggestions. I thought it was really fun. I mean, it screws us over, it screws everything up in terms of scheduling, I guess. Like you come back and there's only 10 games, and that's a problem. I don't know how that could be solved. I mean, we have we're gonna have 9 long off season, and I don't know. It's a little bit but I guess it's also specific to my team, which is bad and is not going to make the playoffs. But anyway,
here we go.
That's my Leagues Cup. That's my Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup was a lot of fun.
I thought it was good.
I'm thinking I would love to. I wouldn't be opposed to them being in Mexico next year, like back and forth. I would love that. It'd be great for the MLS teams to all fly down to Mexico and do all their stuff.
I would go. There. I'd go to Mexico, watch a game. I have tickets to see. Well, anyway, we've talked about that before. I had tickets to go see NYCFC play at Tigres, but then this COVID thing happened.
Yeah. I had tickets to. We'll talk about that in a second. But there's that, or the other thing is maybe host all of it in Texas or California or something like that. Have the entire tournament be nearby. Yeah, so everyone goes to Texas. They have base camp
like a bubble. We're gonna do the bubble thing again. Like
not necessarily a bubble, but like there's 4 or 5 stadiums in an area that can be,
So we'll have Red Bulls against
Red
Bulls against NYCFC in San Antonio,
in Houston. Yeah, exactly. That's the downfall. It's probably way worse for the attendance.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Might be better for the Mexican clubs, but definitely worse for the MLS clubs. Yeah.
Well, it seems like also, I mean, there's definitely more MLS teams, so it's just there's always going to be a lot of intra MLS games, so
Yeah.
somebody should have home field for that. It's not like people in San Antonio are going to take the month off and watch Leagues Cups constantly. I mean, it's not like,
I don't know.
I guess this yeah, I
They
don't
might.
know.
City gives us free tickets to everybody. No, so yeah, I guess it is. It's just going to be the way it is. However, if you want to make it a little bit more even, I would be all about switching back and forth between Mexico and the United States. Mexico can host this tournament. They got stadiums. They've got hotels. Private planes fly in their airs. They fly in ours.
But then,
so
yeah.
we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
But overall, it was a really fun tournament. The other takeaways for me, and I could be wrong about this, is, and I've talked about this before, and the new format, the new CONCACAF Champions Cup format still is as inherently flawed as the last one. CONCACAF just refuses to play their super tournament in anything except for the spring, which is the one time a year that MLS clubs ain't playing. And so this was finally appropriate in the season for both the U.S. and Mexico. And it was nice to see that the elite clubs in Mexico are still the best clubs in the region. They're the halves. Like, some of them have 13 players, a few $1 million and more. No MLS club has that. However, it proves that MLS clubs are better than the low end and the average Mexican teams, I think. Those teams are smaller. Like a Liga MX is very similar in most leagues in the world that has the haves and the have-nots. Major League Soccer is very clear in that it's a parity league. It might seem like there's haves and have-nots between your LAFC and your Colorado Rapids, but the gap between them is true. But the gap is pretty small overall.
Compared to worldwide average, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Right. MLS has a pretty tight average. An MLS club is going to be an MLS club. So I would put that in the upper 3/4 of the Mexican league, something like that. So like our team, like LAFC beat Juarez 7-1. So Juarez is not MLS quality, but a Club America and a Monterrey, those dudes are probably the bigger, better clubs in the world. It only took a Barcelona. it took Inter Miami and Barcelona to sort of crush all that. And then Nashville got past Club America.
Well, Nashville got
on
a
VAR.
I mean, it wasn't odd, but it was thin margins, right?
I mean, penalties are always going to be a crapshoot, right? So it's just like crapshoot. Hold tight, get to penalties, crapshoot time. That is maybe a little bit of a flaw in the Leagues Cup, where it's like in the knockout round, teams just have to hold out a little bit to penalties for 50-50. But that's tournament play. So my takeaway is just MLS clubs aren't as good as the best, but they're better than all the mid-level clubs down and lower clubs down in Mexico, I would say, on average.
Yeah, I would say mitigate this by having a little bit of a longer group stage and start with the round of 16, maybe. 16. I don't know. Yeah, the math is tough because you have 47 teams, right?
But it'll be 48 next year, I think, or 2 years from now when San Diego comes in. Whoever's next. So that will even up at some point.
Right.
But my big thing is this: the Leagues Cup. Officially, it's like our Copa Sudamericana. It's officially like the North American Europa League. It's like our second tournament. And our main tournament is still the CONCACAF title. And they reformatted it again.
Yeah, but
it's got a big prize of $5 million. But again, it goes from freaking January, and the finals are in May. You know what tournament doesn't do that? Is the Copa Libertadores. The Copa Libertadores runs during the spring, runs through the summer, just like the Brazilian League does. And the reason they do that in South America is because A, the weather, but B, the Brazilian League, which is the biggest, best league in that region, runs that way, so they run that way. The Argentinian League, which is the second biggest, best league in that country, maybe the first, depending on who you talk to, they run half-half, so either or for them doesn't matter. The spring is as much prime as the fall for them. Here in North America, it's the same thing. The Mexican League plays in halves, so does the rest of Central America. They play in aperturas and clausuras. So the only league that doesn't play that way is arguably the region's second biggest league, Major League Soccer. And CONCACAF will just never set themselves up to enable to be in our prime. It's like, who does...
Well, Okay.
How does that make sense? Have it be a knockout round from June to December, for crying out loud. Then everybody's on even footing.
It seems to. I mean, this format seems to improve it a little bit in the sense that there's more entries, and you're gonna get the jankier teams early. And by the time you go to the, I mean, once it gets to April, May, you gotta be good to go. Like that's not preseason anymore. So
this format's going to be a giant killer. Big clubs are going to get killed by a Canadian Premier League club because they're in preseason. They're not really ready to go. And then it's going to be weird. I just don't get why they're... I don't know. I just don't... You can reform it all you want. Until it moves to the appropriate time of the year, it'll never be a great tournament to me. As fun as it is, it's just always they can never make it. And it's because the Mexican teams are in a better part of the season. Plus, they have healthier budgets. So it's just like, talk about being rigged. It's rigged against us twice. So I'm happy for the Leagues Cup because it seems to be, even though we're hosting it, we seem to be in better shape finally to face these Mexican clubs. And to make it even, I would love to see them go to Mexico next year. Right? You got to go to Mexico and do it in Mexico because MLS clubs do not travel well. They're just like Seattle Sounders being schooled at the FIFA Club World Cup. If for whatever reason our clubs tend to not. Austin FC being destroyed by Little Juarez and by Violet AC. Our
Austin FC also, but that's also a problem with Austin FC being bad this season. I think that's borne itself out beyond the Champions League. That they're just not very good. But yeah,
according to the sporting director, it was passionate speech. But they're 5th place. They're in the playoffs right now. I mean, we're not in 5th place. Yeah.
Are they really?
Yep. I thought he said that, but it's like they're doing fine. They're on course for the playoffs.
Oh, Gio Savarese got fired.
Oh, wow. Did that happen?
From Portland.
Well, he lost 5-0 last night.
Well.
But is that really Gio Savarese's fault? All his players are gone. So, we'll see. He's a great coach.
7th. Who knew? Okay.
I think in 7th.
Is he a great coach?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Okay. I guess we'll see.
He won the MLS Cup with Portland. He was great for them. He was the head coach of New York Cosmos when they were the best team in New York.
He did not. He did not.
Did he? Well, or second place, right?
I don't think
place. Once or twice.
Well, we beat them, but then I think when they won, it was Caleb Porter, right? Was the coach? No?
Yeah, but under Gio, they've been to several finals, right? They must. I know they were the MLS Cup final. I guess it was against you guys when he bitched about the referees. Yeah. But didn't he win the year before that?
No.
Maybe not. But he was a good bounce back coach for them. And he's a good solid coach all around, I'd say. So he's available. And there are going to be teams like the New England Revolution who are probably looking for a new head coach at some point.
Do we know what happened there? No updates.
Oh no, it's like every time I go on Reddit to bring up the Robert Kraft underage prostitute, it always gets removed. The Reddit mods remove it.
Oh, shocking.
Well, I'm getting to think the Reddit mods are like work for MLS. It's like a lot of anything critical tends to get removed. So, but, my state-run media accusations continue. But anyway, Leagues Cup, a lot of fun. MLS, the New York Red Bulls beat the DC Scum this weekend.
Congratulations. It's wonderful. So happy for you.
Well, I want to show you a picture that I don't know how to load up because I'm not a technical guy. So I'm going to try to do it old school like usual. And then it just gives you sort of a general idea on what the game was like. Let's see. Here we go. Can you see that? Come on, clear up.
Nope.
Clear up.
That's the result. That's not the picture.
Yeah, hold on.
No, you're not. Why don't you want to text it?
I'm taking off blur.
No, but you didn't have it. You didn't have it on your phone.
Yeah, it was on my phone. Oh. You have to look at it. What does it say under expected goals?
Oh, expected goals. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Wow.
What does it say? Tell the audience out loud for
0.08 for the Red Bulls and 0.02 for DC United on 10 and 8 shots respectively. How does that math even work? They all shot. They could these shots were all from midfield?
I know you explain that rule. Explain XG to me. I ended to have it re-explained over and over again. All I know is when the game was over, I'm like, that was a really boring game. And then when that came up, I was like, oh, no wonder it was boring. No one was. Nothing was going on.
You want me to explain XG to you? No.
Well, we had one goal, and it was off a. Did you see it? It was off a Leo Messi style free kick. It was a Leo Messi free kick. John Tolkien got a foul in the corner of the box. And he Leo Messi did. He was like a beautiful shot around the thing in the corner of the goal. Leo Messi himself couldn't do it any better. It was a beautiful free kick. And he even said afterwards, like, I've been taking notes from Leo Messi. And we got a good 1-0 victory in a decent crowd. Like, it was half full at best. But still, you know, the supporters section was more full than I remember because they came out for DC. And you know, it was a good game for us. A great way to start. Like I said, we only have 5 or 6 wins. Now we only need 4 or 5. So 1 down, 5 more to go. Let's round up. 5 more to go in our remaining 10 games we have. We have to win we have to win half of our next batch of games. So knock on wood. They're only 1 point off the playoffs, but the experts afterwards said Red Bulls will not make the playoffs. It's a bold prediction. They're literally just 1 point off. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Well, I had a very different experience. My team we had an XG of 2.15 or something. We generated a lot of stuff, but lost the game 2-0 to Minnesota United. Also, I think we're now 6 points out of the playoffs. But I think we're officially not going to make it. I mean, obviously, it takes a lot to be mathematically eliminated, but for practical purposes, I think we need like 20. We need to win 7 out of 9 to have any kind of chance, and that's not going to happen. And you know, it was
There's
a lot
one
of
team in the East. There's only one team in the East that's going to win 7 out of 9. And
that's Miami. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. There's 2 spots open really that you can get to, and Miami is going to catch up with probably both of our teams pretty quickly. So it's not going to happen. There were a lot of positives. You know, I've sung this song before where it's like a lot of good stuff happened, but this is no longer the time for moral victories or hope for the future. We need some points, and that didn't happen. Maxi Morales is back. That was lovely to see, and he got the C started, and immediately the offense is humming in a different way. He just has a way to run this team that's amazing. The press looked better, but then we hit the post twice, and we had to Thales Magno stand on the penalty spot with his ball in hand, ready to take a penalty that then was waved off by VAR, and it was just not our night. It's just not our year, I guess. Burke Risa is looking good, the new defender. We had 4. I think 4 new players made their debuts. So there's new signings, there's activity, there's lots of good stuff happening. But
was Alonso Alfonso there?
Alonso Alfonso, you're talking about Alonso Martinez. He did not come off the bench. We did not see him. We saw Julian Fernandez and Andres Pereira from Philly. But the other thing that was interesting was attendance was good. We had a big crowd, but it's very quiet. I think there's a lot of, this is part, I think, of the Messi effect. There's more people coming, but they're not super engaged. They're not super engaged. I mean, there was also not a lot to celebrate from our end. It was pretty frustrating game to watch. Because I'm in Citi Field. We've talked about this before. I'm sitting on the opposite end from the fans, and I'm usually the one trying to make some noise. I was low energy yesterday because I took a 2-hour run in the afternoon heat foolishly, and I was just like completely destroyed. So I was not in the mood to try and rile up the crowd. So it was a pretty quiet game. We got a visit from my season ticket rep, And that was also interesting. She said that demand for season tickets has been up.
Oh,
The
good.
Messi effect is definitely
Interesting.
happening. But the flip side, she's saying, some people buy season tickets just for the Miami game because that makes
No, that's the
sense.
thing.
That makes
On the
sense
Rebels,
economically. It makes sense economically because versus buying tickets on the secondary market, you can spend less on season tickets and get
there's going to be
basically
a lot of reselling.
the other
On,
16 games free.
on the
So
Rebels forum right now, it's just one post after another trying to sell the Inter Miami game. They want $700 from like the fans. Everyone's just like, get the heck out of here. It's like we're not spending that. And it's funny how many resellers there already are for this season alone.
yeah,
And
and
it's just
then
like I think a lot of people are stuck with tickets, so they're gonna have to go. So that stuff's gonna fade, by the way. My theory is by next season, a season ticket isn't gonna be like if you just want to see Messi next year, it probably won't be as expensive next year as this year. I hope. I hope.
well, we will see. We
Wow.
will see. But anyway, that was interesting. There is now more attention, and there's more, and we had a good, like, it was very, very well attended. I don't know. I didn't
Surprised to hear
see.
that because it looked empty on the TV because it's just such. I saw full empty sections right next to the field.
Well,
Because it's I guess 'cause it's in a baseball stadium. So.
that's always a thing. They don't open everything, but they had people
Right.
in the upper deck. Some seats are bad in Citi Field, so there's certain sections in relation to sightlines and stuff. So there's certain things that don't get open.
And the field looked rough. Did it just rain or something? The field looked really rough.
Oh, I don't know. What did they say about attendance in the I guess they didn't. It doesn't say anything on the website. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying like, this wasn't like but
I think I'm spoiled because Geodis Park the night before looked great. What's it, full out 30,000
right. I mean, yeah, we still, we're
field.
playing in stadiums that hold 50,000 plus people. It's not that much, but I think we had maybe like 25, 26, which is good for us. It's
that's all you need.
That's a good crowd, but it was very quiet. Anyway, so the season ticket reps, she said that they're hoping to sell out the new stadium with season tickets before it even opens if this trend continues. Now, obviously, who knows? The Messi effect. What's going to happen when Messi's done? What's going to happen to all these people? Are they going to stay? Are they going to
well, it's a good sign that if people are showing up to the games, that's a good sign. That's another part of the Messi effect that we didn't expect, or it's another part of the Messi effect because Messi's not playing in that game. They're literally just checking out the league he's playing.
He sure didn't.
They're like, let's take a look at the local team. The other part of the Messi effect that I like, there's so many parts of this Messi effect I like, is before the Nashville game, you can go. There are so many local news reportings of Messi and the game and MLS and the team. It's so cool to see. If you go on YouTube, these pop up on my algorithm. You go on YouTube and it's the local CPS station or ABC, like the local affiliate stations. The local news reporters are going to soccer bars, interviewing the soccer bar owner, where he's just talking about what the Nashville soccer scene is like, and essentially, like you can tell you've broken into mainstream if all the local news stations are making you part of the local news. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very rare for MLS to get any of their local news traction like the other teams do. So that was very nice. It's a very people don't know their thing. Like the League's Cup Soccer Ball Summer Series is a coming into thing, and there's one Lionel Messi. He's like the LeBron James of world soccer. It's so very very retro, very American retro. For these little conservative news stations. But it shows this kid who's like, I drove 3 states over just to go to the stadium, and I love Messi, and I love soccer. It was really cool. It was really, really cool. And then they interviewed
we had a father and son in our row who were that's why the ticket rep was there, who were new season ticket holders, and the kid had a Messi jersey on. And they were not NYCFC fans, but they have season tickets now. Yeah, cool. It's good. It's a new world. It's a new world out there.
Well, here out west, I survived. Thank you for asking. I survived the hurricane. A hurricane canceled all our MLS games. I don't know if
you had You had a hurricane? I
Yeah,
did
you
not.
didn't hear any of this?
I did not hear
I had
this.
tickets to LA Galaxy last night, but it was canceled and postponed because of the
Oh
hurricane.
yeah, I did hear that. I'm sorry. I was distracted.
Thank you for reaching out. I'm
in,
sure it's good that you
no,
cared and made sure I was okay.
I'm
No,
sorry.
it was okay. It was. I'm a Florida man. I'm a New York man. I'm a California man. Hurricanes mean nothing to me. The amount of hurricanes we had in New York blew my mind. We had like a hurricane every 2 years when I was in New York. It was crazy. And now we're having hurricane. Now we had our first hurricane here in Los Angeles.
That was just when you were there. That trend has
Yeah.
since subsided.
Stopped.
Yeah.
And it started here. It started here now. So I'm bringing
so
the
it's
hurricane.
you.
I rate my body temperature.
You wherever you go, you rock them like a hurricane.
Whenever I jump into the ocean, it's just the spinnies start. The
spinnies. The shooter spinnies.
Here I am, rocking like a hurricane.
Yeah, the Scorpion.
Where's that band from, Bjorn? Where's that band from? I learned this
Germany.
relatively recently. That's a German band. Blew my mind when I learned.
You did not know that? The Scorpions?
No, I did not know that.
I had in the 90s when I was first in New York, I had a coworker of mine convinced for several months that I used to be in the Scorpions.
Why? Because you're German?
I don't know. I just kind of said it like as a joke. And she sort of believed it, and then we kind of kept it going. And I thought we were kidding, but it became clear that she believed. And then eventually, she I guess she saw a picture. She looked it up and was like, "You weren't in the Scorpions." Yeah. I'm like, "No, of course I wasn't in the Scorpions."
It's like I'm half their age, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they are. They're other big. Yeah, they're significantly older. Yeah.
They're other big. Their hit "Rock Me Like a Hurricane" was like an early '80s song, right? Who knows? But then their other big hit was
probably 70s, actually,
or 70s, right? It's old school. And then their other big hit was "Winds of Change," which happened.
Yeah, that happened later. That was more in the mid to late 80s. Yeah, that was their big ballad. Yeah,
there's a full podcast dedicated to how the CIA wrote that song for them. It's a 10-part series. It has been proven to not be correct, but still it's fun to speculate. The CIA in the 80s.
The CIA wrote.
Yeah. They had an arts program where they produced movies, television, music that would convince the communism to stop. Which that was part of like a psycho warfare thing. And then the Scorpions came out with "Wind." How does it go? It's like winds. It's like a slow, soft ballad of
"Take me to the magic of the moment." I don't know the lyrics.
Yeah, but that's it. And let's go winds. It's about Eastern Europe. It's about times of changing, and it sort of sets up Eastern European.
That song
Eastern
sucks.
Europe.
Yeah,
it's not a great song.
To say it's not a great song.
But
I'm pro Scorpions generally.
Yeah. Anyway, but the winds did change. The wall did fall. And for Eastern Europeans, that song's important. Here in the States, it doesn't really mean much, but over in Eastern Europe, not. Anyway, what was it talking about? So we had a hurricane coming through. LAFC's game was postponed to Wednesday. I might try to go to that. And my game was postponed to mid-October.
Oh, boy.
So I have to go get my tickets back because I'll be in Deutschland.
Oh, because you're going to be in the Germany.
I'm going to be in Germany. And it's like, oh, man, mid-October. That's because Real Salt Lake has their Open Cup game this Wednesday. So they can't. LA Galaxy can't.
Oh, they can't do it. Right. This is the next cup that Messi's looking to win.
The second title. They only 2 more wins left for their double. Isn't that crazy? So I could not go to the LA Galaxy game. And like I said, might go to the LAFC game, but I would like to have gone to the Galaxy game. Curious what they're doing around there. Who knows what's going on with the Galaxy? But out here in the West, the 2 LA games could not. MLS hadn't started for us yet. We're still waiting. MLS has started for a lot of other teams, but we're still waiting.
You're catching up. Sebas S. was at the game at New York Red Bulls. He says he has never seen a winner. He's a season ticket holder. He has never seen a winner free kick in Red Bull Arena before.
I would have been amazed. That looked amazing. You should see it You should see the highlight. Such a great free kick, and he runs and he holds the flag up. It was a lot of fun.
Hans Wolf is saying how MLS the Messi effect has catapulted MLS to 4.0 and 3.0. We skipped. We just skipped 3.0.
I think we've done this before. There was a 3.0. I'm trying to because Beckham was 2.0. 3.0 to me, I guess, was Atlanta. I think Atlanta was 3.0. Wouldn't you say, Hans? Maybe Atlanta was 3.0. It's like the first team that could successfully fill a football stadium, I think. Right? Or am I wrong? What do you think?
And Zebas is saying that he was surprised the attendance was good at Red Bull Arena, 15,000 people. He's not going to sell his ticket. He wants to go see Messi. Hans Wolf, he was expecting to see you in Valhalla.
I am in Valhalla! As a Mad Max Fury Road, perhaps
and
reference.
For the first time since 1918, Red Bulls are going to have a packed-out stadium against Miami, 25,000. Yes. It's going to be almost as good as Newcastle against Brighton.
It's going to be pretty pink, but it'll still be a lot of fun. And like you said, the New York Red Bulls are ready to be little bastards. So hopefully, and Miami is tired. And this is the other thing about all these expensive tickets. Messi needs to take a game off. He's going to take a game off.
If he's playing Wednesday in the Open Cup, then he may, My God.
Yeah, he might be off.
I mean, people are going to go nuts. If you buy season tickets just to see Messi and then he's indisposed that day, it's going to be, people are going to go crazy.
But that's their problem, right? That's not how soccer works.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
No one in Europe buys, I mean, I guess that's not true, but like if you go to a Bundesliga game, go to Union Berlin game, and Brendan Aronson doesn't play, you can't. That's your problem. There's not going to be a large pandemonium in the crowd like there would be here.
Well,
that's just how it works.
But you didn't spend $4,000 on your ticket.
Not in Germany, no.
I mean,
no one would.
Messi's different. Anyway, yeah.
If Messi signed with the Bundesliga, none of the ticket prices would be any different. Don't you think? Or is that silly?
Well, he's not going to. That is not conceivable.
Hans Wolf says, since they mentioned Dorney Park, that Scorpion song, I love Dorney Park. I used to go all the time as a kid. That's in what Scorpion song was that in? Winds of Change? That can be with it, which is located. But can it be if they were from instead of upstate New York? Say that again. Upstate
New York? No, Scorpions are
they're from Hannover.
Hannover, Germany.
Yeah, they're from Hannover. But Dorney Park. Which song did they mention Dorney Park in? Dorney Park. I
don't know. Maybe Winds of Change. I don't know. I can't say that I know those.
I used to go to Dorney Park every year as a kid because I grew up 45 minutes south of Dorney Park. Dorney Park's in Allentown. Seba S. August 26th to be hell. The Giants versus the Jets are playing on the same as Messi playing Red Bull Arena. Wait a minute. Oh, so down the street from Red Bull is going to be a Giants-Jets game? Is that true? 25,000 Red Bulls, 85,000 attendance. The traffic and the trains in that area are going to be nuts. Let's hope they're not playing the exact same moment.
Well, they're not that close to each other, the two stadiums.
But that's 100,000 new people in that area. That's enough to affect traffic, though. Something up with traffic around there. Like, especially if they let out at the same time. Let's hope they stagger it. When I drive to work and the Hollywood Bowl lets out, when I drive to work, it adds 20 minutes to my 10-minute commute. I'm always late to work when the Hollywood Bowl lets out. Always late to work.
If we're talking about Wings of Change, I think the park that's mentioned is Gorky Park, right, in Moscow.
That makes more sense than Dorney Park, the Allentown, Pennsylvania theme park. I know Dorney Park. I would love it if Dorney Park was a big part of the fall of the Soviet Union.
Maybe this is the Pennsylvania version of the song. It's an updated.
Yeah, they did an updated edition. But the biggest park in Pennsylvania isn't Dorney Park.
Atlanta United was 2.5. Says Hans Wolf.
I know you're sticking to your. I know Hans Wolf, you're sticking to your narrative. They're just like 2.5. Seattle 2.25. Atlanta 2.5.
NYCFC 1.8.
1.8. Fine. Messi is 4. There was never a 3.5. I'm not going to argue. We'll agree. We'll go. It went straight from 2.0 to a little 2.5, 2.75, and then 3.0, or then skip to 4.0 when Messi showed up.
I think, it's not. Yeah. All right. Definitely, we're at 4.0 now. That's undisputed.
But the Rebels are about to play Inter Miami and Leo Messi. Let's see if we can slow that train down. Get our points. Messi will be rested. Maybe Busquets will be rested. He's extra exhausted. Give him a little high press. I offered this. Messi, during the Nashville game, Like he has this thing where he just roams around free. And I'm like, can't you get one player to cover him 100% of the time? And someone on Reddit says that that's not a thing. No one ever does that. That's like not a tactical thing. I'm like, well, invent it, create it, call it the Stefan if you need to.
It's not like that doesn't. It's not like that doesn't happen, but it's
That's
not.
What I'm saying.
It's not effective because it's not like. I mean, that person is gonna, not be. I mean, I don't think it's. Philly tried to man mark Busquets for a lot of the game so that he wouldn't. I don't know. You can't keep a good man down. I thought the national defense was pretty good. They closed Messi down pretty well. I mean, he's good. He's just crazy.
He's a good soccer player. All right, let's see. I'm trying to think what the other scores were throughout this weekend. MLS is back. We had our first casualty of Giovanni Savoresi.
They got a picture on the website like he's dead. It's a little macabre. Like there's a very
it's him looking off into the distance. Yeah,
but like
the Toronto-Montreal game happened. Montreal 3-2. Orlando destroyed Chicago. Seattle destroyed Austin 6-3. What a bang of a game.
St. Louis, you mean?
St. Louis. Sorry, what did I say? Yeah, Austin losing to St. Louis 6-3.
Yeah, Brad Stuver threw a ball through ex NYCFC player Brad Stuver threw a ball to the opposition. It was very sad.
It's lovely. Seattle has gotten gifts all season. That's a little retro to the beginning of the year. Seattle is like, we'll take it. San Jose got one up.
St. Louis.
Vancouver.
St. Louis. You mean you keep saying Seattle? You mean St. Louis?
San Jose beat Vancouver, though. That's what I was talking about. 1-0. That is real.
But you were talking about Seattle, the gifts that St. Louis got early in the year.
Oh, right. Did I say Seattle?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Sorry. We're here to help each other.
I'm looking at the website, and St. Louis, Seattle, and San Jose are all right next to each other.
It's like STL. Yeah. It's all good.
Anyway, St. Louis got their gift. Like they did at the beginning. Seattle and Atlanta, the 3.0 battle, I would say, Hans Wolf, the 3.0 teams. Atlanta did beat Seattle 2-0. The 2.5, the battle of the 2.5s. Atlanta beat Seattle in Seattle 2-0. Good for them. And then NYC, man, we covered that. And then Miami and Charlotte was postponed. Columbus knocking off Cincinnati 3-0. That was pretty surprising, right?
Yeah,
Cincinnati being the Supporter Shield Chewins, going to their state rivals, and Columbus just knocking them down. So
were they resting? What was the? I didn't see. What was the lineup? Did they rest people for the cup game or?
Good question. Let me see that. Let me see if I can see it right now. I don't know.
That's what I'm hoping.
How much?
That's what I'm hoping we can. That's what I'm hoping we can capitalize on because they're playing the Messi show on I think Wednesday, and then we are going to play there on Saturday. So I'm hoping they're going to be a little tired.
To me, Cincinnati's been off for 3 weeks. This would be a good warm-up game before. Don't you think? Wouldn't it be stupid to rest there? If I were the coach, I'd play my starters just to get a game under my belt before Wednesday. Okay, the Cincy starting lineup. Well, Vasquez was playing. Lucho Costa was out there. Barrial. It seemed like the starters. Raymond Gaddis was out there. Who's a Boopin? The number 9 was out there.
What's going on with Matt Miazga? Is he?
Aaron Bupenza was out there. Yeah, Matt Miazga. Is he listed? He is not listed as a starting. He wasn't on the bench either, so maybe he's injured.
All right. Well, I'm hoping that Miami will soften them up, and then we can make up. We can make up for the 3 points we lost this weekend with 3 points that we probably weren't counting on.
Seba S predicts 2-1 Red Bulls win over to Miami. Hell yeah. I'm all about that. Seba S wishes he could start speaking the language. The Scorpions only sing in English, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
so all the Scorpion songs
for the English. Scorpions, you don't need to. I mean, if you want to read romantic 19th century poetry, yes. For the Scorpions, no.
I took a class in college called German Literature as read in English, and it was just German literature, but all of it was English translations. So we read Goethe. What's Goethe's big book?
Faust.
Depressed. Not Faust. Another one.
Oh,
There's a
young
guy-
the sorrows of young Worth that he lied des jungen
Yeah.
Werther. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. It's about a really depressed dude walking around. It's depressed the whole time. I don't know. It was a boring ass book, but I wish I should, like I said, that I should read in German.
Book.
But Faust, I think I did read. I definitely watched Faust. I think
Blasphemy.
we watched Faust in that class. The early silent film.
It's a play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bjorn and Stefan, prediction for Red Bulls versus NYCFC game in Yankee Stadium on September 16th. Who the heck knows?
I'll say Red Bulls 1-0.
That's what it's been. That's what we've had this year.
That's how Red Bulls do. They only score 1 goal a game. That's all they can handle.
No, we're gonna win. 3-0 NYCFC.
I predict 4-0. All 4 goals, Tom Barlow.
We're gonna beat the Red Bulls, and that's gonna make us feel a little bit better about not making the playoffs.
Our bench is playing because we're already in the playoffs. You guys are like last place, and Tom Barlow comes off the bench.
That's not possible.
He scores an Olympico. He scores a bicicleta. Then he scores a half field shot. No, the third goal is he scores a banger from outside the box, and his fourth goal is when you guys are up front in the box. He gets it and he does a full field lob because the goal is empty.
And then he wakes up. He wakes up on the bench with drool on his face and realizes he was passed out in the middle of the game.
And then there's a piece of paper on his chest saying you've been cut by mutual consent or whatever. No, and then after he scores that full field goal, like that goal all over the field, like the natural, all the lights start exploding. And the announcer's like, "That's a grand slam home run!" And then Tom Barlow just rounds the bases. He starts cheering like this, like right from the end of the natural, starring Robert Redford, right? Is that Robert Redford? Isn't there also blood on his? Isn't there blood in that thing? But anyway, so that's my honest prediction for what's going to happen.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it in front of me.
Drake Morber,
Tom Barlow is going to turn into Bradley Wright Phillips. Oh, he's going to become an analyst?
Yeah, he's going to be a great analyst. Great analyst. All right. Do you have any last thoughts for yeah, that was Hell is Real Derby, so my love's going to them.
I love that they did you see that because the Cincinnati Columbus Derby is called Hell is Real. And then for the NYC, when the second teams played, they called it, what did they call it?
Purgatory is real?
Purgatory is plausible.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like that. That's smart.
Or something like that. Yeah, it was very funny. Anyway.
I approve that.
Sebas thinks the Red Bulls are going to win 3-0 against us. I mean, who knows? People score the jankiest goals against us. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Barlow got one against us. Actually, he may not score against anyone all year, but he'll hit a ball and it'll get deflected off of Jimmy Sands' ear and go in.
You're easier to score against than that hotel that Robert Kraft always goes to in Florida.
I guess
the biggest story no one's talking about. Free Bruce.
If I was the Reddit moderator, I would remove this post also.
Hashtag Free Bruce. Okay, Free Bruce. What the hell's going on up there?
You don't even know what he did, and you're
verbal, though. But it's what did he say? Also, I don't believe there's much anybody could say verbally that requires them to have their entire family, just like their career, destroyed. We were just on Reddit. They're talking about how Leagues Cup. There was an inaugural Leagues Cup. The only thing I remember about the inaugural Leagues Cup is Mike Petke, one of my favorite people of all time, getting canceled, and has not been back since.
We played against. Well, he said the P word to a referee. That's not good. He
said bad things. I think he said the F word or something. I get he did bad things. I'm not saying he didn't do bad things. However, aren't you allowed to apologize and be like, I'm better now, go through a program and come back? Right?
Well, I'm sure at this point it's not because of the thing he did. It's because nobody wants to hire him.
For no reason. He was a warrior of a coach. He got our first title and then club history. Then he went and made Real Salt Lake and immediately a better team. He's just so passionate. Remember his rant where he's like, he wanted to show images. The ref was bad. He's like, I can't show the other thing because my printer ran out of ink.
Who was the printer guy? Trent? What was
do you
his
mean?
name? He was
well-
saying the guy with the printer. He had a name that he kept
I
mentioning.
forgot.
Yeah, that's
He
fine.
just said the printer ran out of freaking
Who is the
ink.
greatest Red Bulls coach of all time? Apparently, it's Mike Petke, according to.
No, it's Jesse Marsh, but-
It's Jesse Marsh. All right.
Jesse Marsh first. Mike Petke, though, second. Mike Petke. All right. That
Come
was
see
it.
us. Come see us at the other. Sebas doesn't like the yellow shirts. I think the yellow shirts are nice, but I'm not a fan.
No, I don't like
so
them
I
either.
guess
We're never going to wear
What
them
I
again.
what I think doesn't count. I'm not a fan.
Well, we lost and all. We're never going to wear them again because we lost. I mean, there is
We had this new Parks Department shirt that was beautiful, but we lost also. So who knows? All right.
if you guys keep losing in that kit, you're not going to want to wear it either, right?
I'll see you on the other side.
Bundesliga hour, other side. Bundesliga, amazing
Yeah.
opening weekend.
My
Otherwise,
German
just
spoiler alert. My German team sucks also.
Well, that's a recurring theme from last season as well. We'll keep it going. Tschüss, bis nächste Woche or over in the Germany thing. Me